I am Rowan Hand, and he is Steve Eccles.
Good morning.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, thank
It's
you.
nice to see you, Steve.
It's nice to see you
You
too.
interview me for a while there. Let's see what you're going to ask me.
So what have you been doing in the last couple of weeks?
Last couple of weeks, wow, what have I been doing? Last couple of weeks, I've been disassembling and making ready for my travels, going away. I've been downsizing because I'm going into the sun.
Yeah.
I've been writing, I've introduced a new element to the program, and it's a very exciting, I enjoy it enormously. I write a news bulletin in the morning.
Yeah.
And I do this at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock.
Yes,
So that it's the news overnight, with huge exceptions, of course, doesn't change that much between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
if
yeah.
something changes, then we deal with it.
Yeah.
But I find it's possible to do a major bulletin of about 20 stories, writing at about 2:30 in the morning and getting it done. One does it in one's own style. One's allowed to make. We can make reference to things like, in the BBC, I couldn't have used a headline like "Murder, Bloody Murder." I couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
There would have been less than understanding of that. And another example of it, Steve, I can give you if I find. Yeah, drone strike takes out Kenyan mall bomber, says the Pentagon. And then I say, there's no hiding place for terrorists across the planet. Wouldn't have got away with saying that in the BBC.
No, because they were very big on neutral. They
Oh,
are very
absolutely.
big on
But I don't
neutral.
mind being not neutral against terrorists.
No,
I'll
quite
nuke
right.
a lot of them, and that would be it. So I've been doing that. I've been building that.
Very good.
And I've been building the Facebook page of my own page and the Destination Uri Facebook with the news on it every morning, so that people know that if they go to Destination Uri in the morning time, as soon as they get up, wow, they have the news in bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
Just enough to be conversational, I say.
Yes, no, it's good.
And
It's good.
that seems to work. The other thing I've taken to doing, Steve, is to, I know, you may or may not know, I've a huge library of African and Indian pictures, images. So I'm taking an image a day, and I'll do it for the next year. An image a day, and it is the image of the day with a particular message. And these are National Geographic-esque images.
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
If a monkey was doing photography for 50 years and you set him down in the middle of Africa or in the middle of southern India, he'd probably get good enough shots. So my shots are like that. They're good. They're good shots.
Yeah, good.
So that's what I've been doing, developing that end of things.
And are they on your Facebook?
They are Facebook all the time.
Very good. And that's what, Rowan Hand?
Just Rowan Hand on
Yeah,
Facebook. It's there all the time. But more importantly, it's on Destination Uri. And also the people flock to us to hear about who's dead. I rather suspect they just want to make sure that they're not dead themselves. So they come on the Facebook, push the button, and they find out who's dead in the community.
Yeah.
And that's what we tried to do there. So what else am I doing? I made a lovely stew the other day. It was absolutely superb. Do you like stew?
I do like stew, yeah.
I'm never sure whether to put the potatoes in and let it stew with the meat, or whether to do the meat and the carrots and the onions and then put the potatoes in at the end. I'm not terribly sure. If I put half a bottle of wine in with the stuff, it turns out a very black and very strong kind of stew.
Yes.
So
But you do know that when you heat up, if you put wine into food and it's hot, all the alcohol evaporates off. And I often wonder why people in nightclubs light drinks, because they're just burning off all the alcohol.
And they're paying so much money. I used, oh goodness gracious, I remember Zambuca.
Yes.
The lit Zambuca with the coffee beans.
Right.
The Zambuca is the clear Italian liqueur.
Yes.
And it would be served in a little glass, right to the brim.
Yeah.
And the coffee beans, and it would be lit.
Yeah.
And I remember, at a works do, I took my people out when I was in Radio Current Affairs in the BBC.
Yeah.
We went out to the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And sure didn't one of my colleagues, a female colleague, who was a big flowery dress on her,
Yes.
didn't it spill,
Wow.
lit over
Wow.
her? She got burnt as a consequence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, honest to goodness.
Wow. We were at a New Year's Eve, excuse me, a New Year's Eve party when I lived in Texas, and it was.
I wish I could say that. Well, when I lived in Texas.
When I lived in Texas, and somebody had firecrackers, and they were jumping all around, and they lit the shirt of the guy in front of us.
Yeah.
And it was a new kind of lumberjacky shirt with a kind of linty, it hadn't been washed yet.
Yeah.
And there was just light flames just running up his back. He was completely, he didn't know about it at all. And my wife was standing there, and she had a bottle of sort of cheap, bubbly wine,
Yeah.
And then so she shook it and just sprayed the back of him and put out his shirt.
Imagine that.
And he turned around and said, "What the heck are you doing?"
What are you doing here? She says, I'm saving your life. Yeah,
so he was all pleased with that.
Yeah. Your own time, what have you been doing? You've been busy.
Yes.
The Pilates is taking off big time for you.
Yes. It's I do nine classes a week now, so it's good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
You're doing it in Lisburn as well.
I am indeed. Yeah. A friend of mine runs a physio place up there.
They need Lisburn needs it badly. They're quite twisted down there.
They're very.
They get straightened out. But I'm Lisburn.
Yes,
I jest honestly. I do. I love. It's nice. But I think I said this to you before. Your Pilates is the sort of Pilates I would go to, because you have a detailed knowledge of what lies beneath the skeleton.
Yes. And I think a lot of people come because of their backs, and because I have a lot of experience with backs, and so I can kind of point out what they need to work on. Yeah. But it's hopefully an enjoyable thing, and
I write. You talk backs and skeletons. I write about my skeleton in my rambles next week in the Newry Democrat.
Lovely.
And what am I saying? I'm saying I find that as I grow older, whatever God there is lifts back the duvet of my life and says, "Observe, take stock." And when I look at my physicality now, where once I was hugely muscular and athletic and fit,
yes,
I now see a degradation in the muscularity. It's failing.
Yeah.
It's not as taut and tight as it was.
Yes.
And more I can actually see the outline of my skeleton.
Yes.
It's like a pre-death training camp, getting ready as one goes down into the quicksands of old age.
But it may well be that you no longer do a lot of physical work.
I don't. But you see, it's a chicken and egg situation. Here I am. I would love to be doing physical things, exercising.
Yes.
But my back is too painful to allow me to do that. And I know if I were able to do it, the muscularity might return.
Yes, I think it would be. It would. And I think if you exercised carefully, your back would tolerate it as well. So I think the problem with your back is probably arthritic, and the worst thing you can do for arthritis is not to exercise it.
Wow, I've got to take heed of this. I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can stand up. Will I be out of shot? But let me just try this. Now here I'm. Now you see, now I'm aware of my back now.
Yes.
The lower back.
Right.
Now that's. I'm having to go the push.
Yes.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's where once I could run up and down stairs.
Yes.
And I just go slowly up and down stairs.
Yeah.
This could have something to do with me being 72.
Yes, but also you earn your living sitting down.
I do.
And so hopefully things will change greatly when you're in Spain.
Yes.
Because hopefully you're going to find a pool in your
my garden.
In your garden, and you'll be swimming every day, and you'll be walking, and
the mountain is behind me.
Mountains behind you. So I think maybe when you return from Spain, we can see if this experiment is.
It's very much an experiment, because I really do feel that aging bones, arthritic bones, need the heat of the sun.
Yes, definitely. Well, and it's quite interesting because arthritis, obviously, it's not a very. It just means inflammation of the joints, and technically speaking, you've probably got osteoarthrosis, the sort of wearing out of the joints. But if in fact it isn't. But if somebody was to have rheumatoid arthritis, which is active inflammation of various joints around their body, and they become hot, They really don't like the hot weather,
No,
and they feel much better in the cold, whereas people with the wear and tear prefer the heat.
I think it's wear and tear.
Yes, I do too.
Because that's what Mark said to me, McAvoy, my great
yes,
doctor.
I don't think there's any...
Mark says, wear and tear, Rowan. Wear
Yeah.
and tear, wear and tear.
Yeah.
But we had a few x-rays and stuff
Yes.
like that and whatever. But people, you know, do people give up the ghost on their bones and whatever? Do they feel, as I suggested there, I'm 72 now, it's to be expected and I'll put up with it?
Yes,
that
of course.
happen?
Of course it does. Of course it does. But I think, you know, the benefits of exercise are so great, mentally and physically.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of guys in our who walk past my house every single day, and you know, they never stop talking and they never stop walking, and they must walk, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles a day, and I think as long as they continue doing that, they'll probably maintain.
I am enormously attracted to our new, not that I've walked it much up to now, our new canal side walkway, our promenade,
Yes.
from Sugar Island down to the Omeath side of the Albert Basin.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I think both ways that might be 1.5 miles or
Yes.
maybe 2 miles.
No, it's a lovely walk, isn't it?
And I think if I bring with me to work the right walking shoes, then my boots are great for it.
Yeah.
And I need the boots because of the banjaxed ankle.
Yes.
And so I think what we're really saying here, and using me as the dummy, so to speak, we're really saying that exercise is at the heart of health, the very fundamental epicenter of being good.
It is, and it's there for everybody. We don't, you don't need 3,000-pound racing bikes.
No.
You don't need all the fancy schmancy stuff. I mean, just go out and do what you enjoy doing. So the best exercise to do is that you really enjoy. So you'll keep doing it.
You've been spotting things right about over-exercise.
I have indeed.
Tell me about that.
Well, recent studies show, I'm just reading from my crib notes here, things like marathon and triathlon training, if excessively done, can lead to quite significant heart problems. In fact, moderate regular exercise reduces your chances of a cardiac episode by 2 or 3 times. But if you overtrain, it increases it by up to 7 times. So some of these people who are out doing ultra marathons are risking scarring of the heart tissue, the arrhythmias that are quite common in very elderly become common in them, and in fact more common. So they increase their risk of atrial fibrillation and also calcification of the coronary arteries.
My goodness.
So they're much more likely. So it would be much better to do high-intensity interval training, short bursts of intense exercise, and then resting.
You see, the concept, for me now, high-intensity exercise, that's a foreign concept for me now.
Yes.
Not that I don't want to do it,
Yeah.
but quite specifically, Steve,
Yes.
I couldn't do it anymore.
Right, and that's fine, but higher intensity for yourself.
Yeah. You choose your own target.
Yes, your own target. And they're saying that intense workout should be less than 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Above which you start potentially getting problems with your heart. So runners, they say, run less than 20 miles a week, and it should be done over 2 or 3 runs, and around 5 or 6 miles an hour, which isn't fast.
No.
That's a steady jog. Above that, you start to have problems, and of course a good recovery between each. Now there's a few other things. So really severe exercise. If you can imagine somebody who's done nothing for a number of years and decides to go to a spinning class, and he goes to the wrong spinning class, what can happen is if you exercise so intensely, you can have muscle tissue breaking down, which releases proteins into your blood, and that's called rhabdomyolysis, which means sort of tissue death. And those proteins get blocked up in your kidneys, and you can have kidney failure and die.
My goodness.
So it's a medical emergency. It really is. It's a very serious thing. And that's particularly if you're not used to the exercise, if it's very hot and humid, and you're not hydrated. However, all exercise should be done gradually. So if you haven't exercised at all and you go to a spinning class, go to a beginner's one. Go to an easy one.
Yes.
If you start feeling tired and exhausted, stop, get off, have a wander about, have a lie down. Okay?
Yes.
So gradually improving.
Now, people might, in terms of your work,
Yes.
They've got a sore back, they've got problems, it's been ongoing. There may be people who have not been to a physiotherapist before.
Yes.
They may be worried about coming to you.
Yes.
Because they don't know what to expect. Let's give one of the first things that happens when you go to this man, Steve Eccles. You will be spoken to. There'll be a conversation occurs.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'll get to know the patient.
Yeah. So we go here. We'll give them an example. I'm coming to you and I'm saying I have a bad back.
Yes.
And I don't know what it is. I've never been to you before.
Okay.
And we will perform a short drama here for you in what and how it works.
A short impromptu drama.
So I'm coming to you and I'm saying to you, thank you very much for seeing me this morning.
Yes.
I got out of bed this morning. I could hardly move. I couldn't get out of bed actually, Steve. I was on my hands and knees and had to pull myself, crawl up the door in order to get upright. And I just had to come to you. I'm not sure. I don't think you'll be able to do anything with this. It's too far gone, I'm sure.
Well, what we'll do is we'll discuss it, and then we'll have a look at you, and then we'll make a decision following that. I don't think there's no way that people over the pub table or over the coffee table can say, oh yes, you need an operation, because you need a good diagnosis. So how long have you had this problem?
Wow, for about 10 years now.
For about 10 years. And has it been gradually worsening, or is it just the same? Or is
there was a sort of a worsening period, and then it plateaued. There was a constant effort, a constant level of it being maintained at a bad kind of low constancy of pain.
And your history, have you had any accidents or injuries?
No, just life has been one constant accident for me, because I did things like diving and lifting heavy weights and chopping trees and just using my body as a tool, as a weapon.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think we need to realize that our bodies weren't really designed to live this long. In evolutionary terms, once you've had your children, nature doesn't really mind what happens to you.
Yeah.
So we're not really, in an evolutionary sense, useful anymore. So there's no advantage to you not wearing out at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's a normal thing.
So are you really saying to me, and this is the kind of conversation you'll have with this man, are you really saying to me that I need to prioritize my well-being in order to go forward, and I need to be aware of the risks, and I need to be careful, and I need to exercise, and I need to put the right regimes in place?
Yes, but I don't. What I try not to do is try to change people's lives too much. Obviously, with you, I think what we do is we examine you, and we'd find that nerve-wise, there's nothing wrong with you. So when we pull on the nerves in your back by lifting your legs, when I look at the sensation and the strength in your legs, it'll all be normal. So we're not looking at a disc injury or something nasty. The fact that you're not worsening, that you're in good health, that your weight is stable, all point to the idea that this is just musculoskeletal. There's nothing scary or dangerous happening.
You mentioned the weight being stable.
Yes.
I have been on the 12 stone mark on the scales for the last 20 years. Doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It's
Very
there.
good.
Is
Very
that a
good.
good sign?
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't want sudden weight loss for no particular reason.
That would be a problem.
That's a sign of that something's wrong and that you need to go and see your doctor.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're on a diet and you're losing weight, well,
it's done with the purpose,
Yes.
So why not?
So then, what we'd do is we'd get you and look at your range of motion, and it would be lacking. You'd be poor in bending forward, maybe poor in bending backwards.
Yes.
And then so we would set about trying to improve that. Also improving your posture, things like that.
Yeah.
So the examination shouldn't be painful.
Yeah.
You're always in control. So if you say,
Yeah.
I don't want, that's sore, don't do that, then I would, of course, stop doing it.
But
there's very little
yeah.
pain involved.
No.
I have to just find out what hurts.
Yeah.
And then we would get you to do simple exercises that get to the heart of the problem. For example, there's a person I was treating recently, and while bending forward is pretty good, bending back is terrible. Almost no bending back. And I told this patient, until that improves, you're not going to improve. So I lay it at the patient's door. I say, this is your problem. I don't have back pain. It's if you don't want to do the exercises, that's fine, but we're wasting our time. So if you have exercises and I give them to you, it's up to you then to take them and to use them correctly.
You see, the back is a very sneaky kind of area because it fools you into thinking it's better.
It does, and then you stop doing your exercises.
And then, bong, you're back down again.
And then I think you've realised now that you have to keep doing these exercises. It's not because I'm telling you to do them, it's because your back tells them. And I've had 2 car crashes, I have a neck problem, and if I don't do specific exercises 2 or 3 times a week, my neck starts to hurt. I know that. That's just the way it goes.
Where do the people find you?
They find me halfway down the Warren Point Road, just next to
Mr. Kyo's garage.
4 or 5 houses down from Kyo's cars.
On the way down
the Warren Point
the
Road,
old Warren Point Road.
And www.ecclesphysiotherapy.com.
Great stuff.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'd like to thank you. Are you ready now for this?
I will.
We'll do this now.
Yeah.
Now watch the thumbs. We need to be careful with thumbs.
Yes.
Right? Ready?
What?
That's not bad. It's very satisfying to do it right. Take care.
Destination Newry.